Hi. Hola.
Hi, hier ist Mr. Döse.
This is Michael Bradley.
Hey, I'm Memphis. Hey.
Hola.
Hello.
I'm here with soccer.com.
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 And I'm talking with my friends soccer.com.
See you soon.
Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Nike Magista Obra 2 in the latest Radiation Flare Pack colorway. So of course this is the latest colorway of the Obra 2, which is quite flashy, but in a way that I actually like. I'm generally not a fan of these really flashy colorways, but I think the combination of the orange and red with the white and black accents actually looks pretty good on this particular shoe. So we'll go over the details of the colorway in the video, as well as talk tech specs, as well as the way they fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more about this particular colorway of the Obra 2, stick around, watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below in the description. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $300 retail price. So if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. Now, being that this is a top-end model from Nike, a string bag is included. That is the only extra you'll find inside the box, with of course the shoes themselves. Now, speaking of the colorway, very, very interesting. So you have a combination of the following colors: total crimson, university red, bright mango, white, and black. So you have that total crimson, which is a very bright orange for the majority of the upper. That's the part that kind of has that glowing effect, especially in a really well lit environment. And then you can see it does have that kind of heat mapping design to it, where it fades into a lighter orange, which is the bright mango, and then eventually white in the middle. And you have the same thing happening here on the medial side. Moving towards the back of the shoe, towards the heel, as well as in the collar itself, that's where you get some of that university red color, which actually looks really, really good as an accent with the total crimson orange, in my opinion. Then you have some solid red aspects there with the fuse overlays in the heel. You of course get your black detail in the actual Nike swoosh on both sides, as well as the Flyknit and ACC branding, Magista branding down the back. And then the sole plate, as you guys can see, is red along the outside. So the part you can actually see from this angle, the sole plate looks red, but on the very bottom, as you can see, it is all orange in color with translucent tip studs that have more of that bright mango color to it in terms of the actual inside piece, which just makes it look like a color versus being translucent. So overall, I think they look quite good. If you're on the market for a bright colorway of the Obra 2, I think this is one of the better, brighter colorways that they've released thus far. Now, in regards to tech specs, because this is now not the latest and greatest shoe from Nike, the new Hypervenoms have just released, a lot of people have been asking me, should I get the Phantom 3 or should I get the Obra 2? And quite simply, the Obra 2 is still a very, very good model, even though it's not the latest and greatest thing from Nike anymore. This is, if I'm comparing it to the Phantom 3 DF, I still think I prefer the Obra 2 just because of the upper that it has on offer. So in regards to tech specs, you're going to find that you get a full Flyknit construction for the Magista Obra 2, but the Flyknit in this particular case has a 3D texturing that's much more significant than what you'll find on something like the Phantom 3. This 3D texturing, you can see it here on the outside, it has this kind of bumpy effect to it. That's not just on the surface, that's the actual upper itself. So the same texturing you have on the outside is mimicked on the inside of the shoe. And it's more significant in these heat mapped areas, which are kind of the two main areas where you're gonna be making contact with the ball most often. And then the texturing itself is a little bit less significant in the parts that are solid orange. With that being said, because of this texturing, you don't add bulk to the shoe. The actual thickness of the material itself is, I would say, trending towards being thinner. But because of the texturing and the variation that you have on the raised parts to the lowered parts, you get this really interesting dampened effect without taking away from ball feel and without actually adding bulk to the shoe. So with something like, for example, a Copa Mundial, you're gonna get that dampened softness from the leather itself, but the leather has a decent thickness to it, and that can give the shoe a bulky feel. That's not to say that the Copa is a bulky shoe, but in comparison to this, this has more of a modern, thinner sensation, but with that dampened effect. So you're really getting a good amount of ball feel while still maintaining a cushion sensation without actually having actual bulk on the shoe. So it's a really, really difficult thing to describe. You don't get the same feel from any other shoe out there at the moment, but it is personally my favorite aspect of the Obra 2, and it's something that I think is just really, really well done in terms of this particular Flyknit design. Now, obviously the Flyknit upper is entirely one piece. You're going to find the Nike skin overlay for the entire upper, aside from where the laces are located, as well as on the collar. Those areas are elasticated Flyknit, and you do get your ACC all conditions control as well, acting as your wet control element, although I don't necessarily view that as a major performance aspect. It's more of a gimmicky thing than anything. The laces themselves, as you guys can see, are slightly off-centered, being pushed ever so slightly to the medial side of the shoe, but for the most part, it feels and kind of reacts like a central lacing system in terms of how it is on your foot. But of course, running through the middle, you have that elasticated Flyknit flowing into the collar itself. Now, what's interesting about the collar on this particular shoe is the fact that it is anatomically shaped. So this is something that is kind of exclusive to the Magista Obra 2 in terms of Nike's mid-cut shoes, in that the ankles actually bulge out on both sides, and then it does have the rounded sides and then curves down on the front and back. So it's kind of the shape of an ankle, or the closest thing to it in comparison to all of the collars you're going to find on Nike's models. And overall, I really like how it fits. Now, keep in mind that the way the collar fits your ankle absolutely has nothing to do with the fit of the shoe. This isn't providing any lockdown. It's basically just an extension piece. It doesn't even necessarily need to be there. But in regards to how it does fit, I like this one versus all the other mid-cut collars on offer from Nike. Just keep in mind that there really isn't any performance benefit to it. There's no ankle support here. There's no restrictiveness from it. It's really something that you stop noticing entirely after about the first 20 minutes of wear time. After that, you stop noticing it. It's like it's not even there. It's there again, more as a visual thing more than anything. Moving on to the heel area, you are going to find an internal plastic heel counter. Internally, you're going to find that the shoe does have a nice synthetic suede liner with a good amount of padding. I would say out of the box, this is one of the more comfortable mid-cut models on offer from Nike. The insole is fully removable. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. You can see it features a mesh liner on top, is made from this kind of decently thick yellow foam that has a good density to it. And then you have pour-on foam inserts, which are blue in the heel as well as in the forefoot. So it's more or less the same insole you're gonna find from the Tiempo Legend 6 with a really good amount of underfoot cushioning. And it is a good insole overall. I think Nike's doing a good job with their insoles as of late on their top-end models, be it the Mercurial, the Tiempos, the Magistas, or the Hypervenoms. They're all pretty decent right now. In regards to weight, the shoe itself in a size 9.5 US weighs in at about 7.7 ounces. So it is just under the 8 ounce range, in the 7 ounce range in general, which is decently lightweight. Are you gonna get a lighter sensation and just a lighter construction from something like a Phantom 3DF or a Superfly 5? Yes, they are lighter shoes, but at the same time, they do offer a completely different fit and feel as well. So I don't think that if you're buying the Obra 2, you're necessarily concerned about having the lightest possible shoe. But just know that if you are interested in them, they do not feel heavy on your feet whatsoever. In regards to the sole plate and stud pattern, the sole plate is made from a pretty standard TPU plastic material, kind of a similar type material to what you will find on the Legend 6, although I would say that this material is a little bit thicker. So it does have some more stiffness to it in comparison to the Tiempos, but still has really good flexibility to it and doesn't feel stiff on your feet whatsoever. And then of course, in regards to the stud pattern, this of course is exclusive to the Magista line. Again, a very similar layout to what you'll find from the Tiempo line, but instead of perfectly conical studs, you're gonna find that the studs are basically a half circle shape. So you kind of get that bladed conical hybrid style design here, where it does provide pretty aggressive traction. The studs themselves, out of all the Nike stud patterns, I would say are probably the shortest in terms of their firm ground models. So you get a nice kind of close to the ground sensation. You don't necessarily sacrifice grip. The traction that you get out of this is still very, very good, but it's very stable, very low to the ground, and overall just a stud pattern that works quite well. Nike doesn't really have any weak stud patterns, in my opinion, at the moment. So that's pretty much it in regards to tech specs, performance features, and of course the colorway itself. Now let's take a look at how these things fit and feel on feet. So you can see here on the right shoe, I threw in some SR4U replacement laces. These are red reflective laces, which I thought just went really, really well with the red in the collar itself. So if you are interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the link down below in the description as well. So if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. So in regards to getting them on, again, pretty straightforward, same as all the other Nike mid-cut models. And when you tie the laces tight, you really do notice those flywire cables stabilizing the upper itself, because the flywire does run from the base of the sole into the lacing system. They are directly connected. So when you pull that tight, pulls on those flywire cables, and you really get this nice locked-in sensation from a shoe that, in comparison to the Hypervenoms as well as the Superflies, this doesn't necessarily have that super kind of tight sensation. Other thing to note regarding the laces, you can see that they're really short. This is actually junior length SR4U laces. So I wear a size 9.5 US. If you just want to have a little bit less slack in general, if you wear a 9 or smaller, even a 10 or smaller, you can actually get away with the junior length ones and just have less slack and less bulk in the laces themselves, which I personally do prefer. So I'll throw on the left shoe really quickly here so you can get a look at that as well. Just loosen them up really quickly. Really important thing, a lot of people don't loosen their laces prior to putting the shoes on, which is not only going to make things difficult, it's going to make you forced to put the shoe on, which can actually cause damage if you're putting any pressure on the structured part of the heel. So please keep in mind always to avoid that. So what I like to do is kind of get my foot halfway in, grab my thumb, put it on the back here so I'm kind of supporting that structured piece, and then I'm almost using my thumb as a shoehorn to get my foot in. So I'm just going to slide it in there. And again, I'm avoiding stepping on this back piece because if you do bend that inwards, you can run into some issues with discomfort because you've actually bent the structure at the rear of the shoe, which is not a good thing at all. So I'll tie these up really quickly, and we'll get a look at both shoes on feet and talk a little bit more about how they feel in general. So again, out of the box, I think out of all the mid-cut models from Nike, this does have the most comfortable kind of natural sensation in the heel area. They don't really feel like mid-cut shoes, which I guess is the biggest compliment that I can give a mid-cut model from Nike because they've all had kind of a stiffer, unusual shape in the rear of the shoe. This doesn't necessarily have that. Still, when you put them on, really recommend that you take your time with the break-in process. Don't wear them straight into a game or anything like that. But after a few hours of wear, and for I think a lot of people just straight out of the box, they're going to feel pretty comfortable for you. So you're not really going to have too many issues with the fit of this shoe. So in regards to the actual shape of the shoe and just the comfort level, the Flyknit upper does have a decent amount of softness to it. It does have a nice sock-like effect, and the overall shape is a good bit wider than what you'll find from the Hypervenoms as well as the Mercurials, be it the Superfly or the Phantom model. So it's got good width to it. I'd say they're going to be suitable for just about anybody. Even if you do have slightly wider feet, just keep in mind that you're not really going to get much stretch out of this particular upper. The shape of the shoe is more or less predetermined because of the material they use, the flywire cables, and just the fact that it's not really a stretchy material in general. In regards to the actual sizing itself, the Magista line runs about a half size small, so instead of wearing my usual size 9 US, I bump it up to a 9.5, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going a half size up in order to achieve the best possible fit. So that is pretty much it, guys, for my review of the Radiation Flare Pack Nike Magista Obra 2. Again, if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can click the little eye in the corner of the screen or the first link down below in the description. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $300 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. If you have any questions regarding this shoe, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.